Thank you for attending our Entergy Solutions Plus webinar, Surviving Nature's Fury. My name is Lindsay Sheridan, and I am the host for today's webinar. We'll be sending everyone a follow-up email within the next couple of days that will include a PDF of the PowerPoint presentation materials and the playback link to today's recording. Because of the large number of attendees, we will only be accepting written questions from you today. Please submit questions by typing them in either the chat or Q&A windows on your screen. We either answer your questions at the end of the presentation or follow up with you separately after the webinar has concluded. If you'd like to expand the presentation to full screen, click on the rectangular icon in the lower left-hand corner. Please note that you are not the only participant today. The names of other attendees are not being shown to you for reasons of privacy. And I'd like to turn it over to the Entergy team.
Thanks. My name is Sarah Sharp, and I would like to introduce our presenters for tonight. In 2011, Entergy formed a team to look at ways to improve the overall customer experience during power outages. Today's presenters are key members of this outage team. They develop customer tools and programs based on customer focus groups, surveys, and research. The team focus is to provide customers with proactive and informative communications to help customers stay safe and informed during storms. Our panelists are Robin Chambly, Senior Customer Service Specialist, James Riente, Distribution Operations Manager, and Dana McKern, Customer Service Manager.
Thanks, Sarah. My name's Robin, and I personally want to thank everyone for their participation tonight. I'm going to go over our agenda. We're going to talk briefly about some storm season risk, how to be prepared, and some safety tips prior to the storm and after the storm. Also, I'll give you some helpful tools and resources that Entergy provides to our customers. So let's get started with Dana.
Thanks, Robin. Here listed storm season risks. The first is structural damage to your home or property. Also, if flooding occurs, be careful around appliances or air conditioning units that may have been underwater. Other those to critical services such as electric and gas and transportation services, even cell towers and ATM machines. And remember health and medical needs and any health risks due to storm damage. Here are some storm statistics for hurricanes. In our area, we could be hit with hurricanes, tornadoes, and even ice storms in Arkansas. Typically, hurricane season is from June 1st through November 30th, but you know we've had storms before and after those dates. September has about as many major landfalls as October and August combined. We have an average of 2 major hurricanes every 3 years that make landfall, and we can expect 12 tropical systems reaching storm strength, 6 become hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. It's predicted that we'll have an above-average Atlantic hurricane season, and look at the diagram here below. It shows the wind speeds per hurricane category. Coastline of Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas. If you look over to the right, you'll see a legend that shows how many strikes in that area by color. And the map that's inserted at the bottom is a timeline. Look at September. You can see that September is super active. Remember Katrina and Gustav. Here's what you can do to prepare. We all know these things, but use it like a checklist. Make sure you have an evacuation plan, especially if you live in a mobile home. Have gas in your vehicles and know where your local shelters are. Have extra cash, and don't forget about your pets. Fill bathtubs with water. Check your first aid kits. Drinking water. Make sure you have batteries for flashlights and radios. Discuss how you're going to contact one another. Store your critical data and practice your plans. Have a practice storm drill with your family. Also, keep your important documents together, like your insurance papers, Social Security cards, that sort of thing. Prior to the storm, here are our Entergy tools to keep you informed. Now, Robin's going to go into much detail later, but sign up for Entergy text alerts. You can also get text alerts for your loved ones. Confirm contact information. This is really important. Make sure we have your latest contact info. You can update information in My Account Online. We also have an Entergy App that you can download. Check out the website and familiarize yourself with the Storm Ready website and online video. Again, make sure we have good phone numbers for you and your family. And like I said, you can go online to My Account, and you can also call us at 1-800-ENTERGY. And turn it over to James.
Just like you do be prepared for a storm, Entergy prepares continuously for events such as hurricanes or major ice storms. We have an extensive storm plan. Everybody has certain roles that they fulfill during those activities, and we practice that. We have drills in the spring of each year prior to the hurricane season to make sure we're ready and we're able to activate and have that plan go into action. We also continually monitor the weather, the risk that might be coming up. We mobilize when we have to, when we have threatening weather, and we bring in crews from other areas and stage them around the system, and so we're ready to act. Once we have our critical facilities we restore power to, and we coordinate with the adjoining utilities. After each event, we go back and look at the lessons learned, what we did well and what we could improve on, and we develop plans of action so that we can close any gaps that we thought we felt short on. And then collaborate with government officials, contractors, and other utilities. And every year, we make sure that all of our employees are trained in the role they will have during a storm event. After storm strikes, the first thing to do is assess damage, so we know what we need to get the power restored, and we get our plan into action. We have the plants back on to generate power that may be out. We repair transmission lines. Those are the lines that move bulk amounts of power. We look through critical services first, for public safety, for health, water, police, those type of facilities. We work large blocks of customers in neighborhoods, and then we work our way down to the individual customers, or individual homes that may have isolated damage. Keep in mind, though, that many of these steps are being done simultaneously in some areas because damages differ in the areas. After what you can do. Well, first of all, we want you to be safe. There's a lot of hazards out there after you have an event. So the instructions of public officials. They're for reasons they want to keep y'all safe also. Stay away from down power lines, flooding, and debris. And if you do come across down wire, do not approach it. Report it to us, though, at 1-800-9-OUTAGE, our normal outage reporting number. Once you're in your home, you wonder that the electrical system wasn't damaged. If you see sparks, you hear electrical noise, broken or frayed wires, or if you smell that smell associated with electrical burning insulation, turn power off the entire house at your main breaker or main fuse, and contact an electrician to determine the damage and make the repairs. Use caution driving in damaged areas, and stay tuned to the media so you're aware of any hazards or any restrictions that you may encounter trying to get back in. Return to your house. Be sure to look for damages before you enter. You may have structural damages. You may have had a limb go through the roof, whatever it may be. Make sure it's safe to enter it. Beware. If you have flooding in the area or other things, the animals, the snakes, other dangerous animals may be pushed out of their normal habitat into your homes, the residential area. So be careful around there. Check water damage at your house. If you get water into your outlets or into the appliances, it can create fire and shock hazards. Be sure it is safe to receive power at your home. If you have damaged weatherhead, which is that pipe, if you have overhead service that goes from the meter to the wires, if it's damaged, if a limb's fallen on it, you need to have an electrician make repairs so that you can take power whenever we are restoring power to that area. A generator, if you purchase a generator after a big outage, be sure to follow the manufacturer's instructions. Equipment to the generator, like the one pictured on here, this mobile one, is the way it's designed to do. And use extension cords if necessary, but be sure not to overload the cords also. Make sure they're large enough. But do not plug a portable type generator into the main electrical panel of the house. It can damage the generator, but more importantly, it can energize high voltage lines, creating hazards for yourself, your neighbors, and the restoration workers. If you happen to have a large generator, a permanently stalled type, or you may have an electrician generation do the work to make it operate as it should, where it does not tie into our system and create those hazards. Generator exhaust contains carbon monoxide, a poisonous gas, so never operate a generator inside or near home. Keep away from open windows in your house, because those gases can't enter through those means also. Unfortunately, we hear almost every extended duration type weather event, people do succumb to those carbon monoxide gases. Generator, it's really a lot of people, they just want to run a window unit to keep one room cool and to save your food. Some won't. Some have the whole house. Of course, the costs go up with that. You have a permanent generator, and you don't have to worry about that connecting to the system. It's designed and the electrician has it set up where it's okay. Don't worry, but you may want to power it off if you think you're going to be away for a while, though, because it may damage the generator running without anybody there. Also, solar panels. A lot of homes have solar systems. They're designed to disconnect from our system when there's no on our side. So those are safe to leave as is when you leave.
Thanks, James and Dana, for going over a lot of that information that we're pretty familiar with. I'm going to get into talking about some great tools that Entergy provides to our customers to help keep you informed during an outage. We have an Entergy Storm Center webpage that has a lot of good information. We have our Entergy outage maps, and we also offer Entergy text alerts, and also the Entergy app. You can download an Entergy app that's free to your Android or your iPhone. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'll talk a little bit about Entergy Storm Center page. This is a web page that's got a lot of helpful information. It provides restoration updates by area. And again, it gives the viewage map links. There's links to sign up for text messaging. During a major event, we open customer information centers in local areas and neighborhoods that you can go and speak to an Entergy representative face-to-face. Those locations are posted on this Entergy Storm Center site. There's links to our Facebook page and Twitter. There's some really good instructional videos about power being restored to your area and could be a featured neighborhood that you live in. There's links to FEMA, Red Cross, and other safety links. If you have visited this page, please take a few minutes and go to it, look around. It's got a lot of good information to keep you informed and how to be prepared during a major event. One of the great tools that we have is our view outage maps. You can see here's a view of some outages that are occurring in Entergy service territory. And when you zoom in on the triangles, you can get additional information. If you look to the right, there's a legend over there, and you can see the different colors of triangles that indicate the total amount of customers that are out for that particular area. Also at the bottom, there's a place for you to type in your address. Once you type in your address, it will take you directly to that location and drop a push pin. A lot of customers find that feature very helpful to view power outages for their particular location. It's a different view of once we've zoomed in on a triangle and you kind of hover over it, it gives you some detailed information. And you can see it gives you the number of customers that are affected. It gives you time that the outage starts. It gives you an estimated restoration time along with some comments. Now, if you're over in the legend, there's a summary tab where you can see outages by county or parish, and then we can also give you a list of the outages by zip code. On our View Outage webpage, there are helpful videos that will assist you with navigation and understanding the different parts of legend and moving around within the application. Major event, the look of our outage map will change a little bit. As you can see, we've got some different colored shaded areas on this particular map. And if you look at the legend to the right, these represent the type of customers that are out of power. Always get back to the normal view by selecting location view instead of area view. If you want to get down to your particular area. Now, during a major event, the reason that it goes to this particular view is because we have a large volume of customers that are experiencing outages. And at that time, we cannot provide a lot of detailed information. If you look at the dialog box, it says Orleans Parish. It does provide you with a customer that we provide service to that area, along with the customers that are experiencing outages. Now, top of the page, there's a red title bar, and it says click here for detailed restoration information. Once that bar is active and you click on it, it will drop down a alert box, and that alert box will have information about your neighborhood or your particular area that's provided to you. And it's very good and helpful during these major events to get that detailed information. Next, I'll talk a little bit about Outage Texting. If you signed up for Outage Texting, Entergy will send you a text message when the outage has been detected in your area. And we'll keep you informed during that outage. Some of the different text messages that we'll send you is when the serviceman arrives. When he gets there and he's investigating the outage, you'll be alerted by text that the serviceman is on the scene. If the damage is extensive and we need additional crews, we'll do a text message and let you know that additional crews are needed. We provide estimated restoration times with the text messages, and if we need to update a time when the power will be restored, we will send you a text message and let you know that the estimated restoration time has changed. Actually, when the power is restored, we will send you a text to let you know the time the power was restored, along with the cause if it's known at that time. I believe texting is more convenient than receiving a phone call. It's a little less evasive. Sometimes when you're listening to a phone call, it's hard to get all of the detailed information. We do provide that as a outage preference, but I think you'll understand that if you make a phone call and in power outage, sometimes the landline phones may not work if you're experiencing an outage. Receiving text alerts gives you control to kind of plan around an outage. Just say we're at the ballpark and an outage happens, and the estimated restoration time is 9 p.m. You may want to make plans to go and get ice cream after the game, just to allow time for the power to be restored before you return home. Texting is also a great feature if you have multiple accounts or locations. Let's say you have a home and you have a business, say beauty shop in town, and then you have a fishing camp. You can sign up each of those different accounts to receive text messages. So if you experienced an outage at your business and you have the estimated restoration time, you kind of plan, if it's a beauty shop and it's going to be a couple hours, it may be okay. If it's going to be quite steep with outage, you may need to let employees, go home or take a break during the day. There are a few ways that you can sign up to receive text messages. It's easy. From smartphone, you just simply type in reg, R-E-G, to 368374. You will need a couple of pieces of information to identify yourself. You'll need your account number and zip code. You can go download the Entergy App, and there's a link on Entergy App where you can sign up for text messaging. We have a smart sign-up web link. It's located at entergytext.com, and there's a little bit of a difference in as far as identifying yourself with the smart sign-up. It'll just ask you a few questions that you probably can already know off the top of your head. It'll ask the account holder's last 4 digits of the Social Security number, your number, and maybe a zip code. You utilize signing up for text messages in several different ways. So let's look at some sample text messages that we'll send to you. The first one is indicating that an outage has been detected, and it's giving you the location of that outage at 104 Summit Circle. You can easily identify which location is out if you have multiple locations. You can tell the address. You can also give your accounts a nickname, which will also be able to kind of quickly tell you which location is out of power. It provides the number of customers that are affected by that particular device that's out, estimated restoration time, and then some commands that you can enter to get more information. If typed in stat, give you an update for that particular outage. Now, if you're home and your power went out, you could also type in OUT, and that would send a text message directly to Entergy to alert us that the power is out at your location. The message that we can send you is when the serviceman has arrived and is on site. And you can see a sample of that message where it gives you, again, the service location, and it gives you your commands that you can also type in to get additional information. Finally, here's a sample of when the power is restored. And it gives you the time that the power was restored along with the cause of the outage if we know what actually caused that outage. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the Entergy App. It's free, and of course if you're used to using the app, you go to your app store and you download the Entergy App. It allows you to do a lot of different things. You can manage your account. You can pay a bill directly from the app. You can report an outage. You can get the status of the outage. And it also has a link in there where you can see or view outage maps. All of this from your smartphone, which gives you a lot of power from the palm of your hand. That concludes our presentation, and one of the several things that I would like for you to remember what we covered today is go out there, sign up for text alerts, download that Entergy app, view our outage maps, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and take a look at our Entergy Storm Center website. It's got a lot of good information. I appreciate your participation today, and I think we've got a few minutes that we can answer some of your questions. If we get to all of them this afternoon, we'll follow up on an individual basis. So I'll kind of turn it over, and we've got some questions. I think Dana's going to go over some questions, and we'll try to answer them the best we can.
We've got a couple of questions if you can have multiple locations and for texting. And we covered that, and yes, you can. You can put your like if you camp, your home, your college students' apartment, so you can enter a phone number in for several locations. And
another good bit, a good part of having multiple locations to receive text messages And if you have an elderly parent or a loved one that is located in a different city or maybe in a different part of the city that you are, that you can be alerted when their power goes out as well. Okay, one of the other questions?
Question about power restoration if we restore power to the elderly or sick. We do have what we call customers, but that's primarily to prevent a disconnect type situation. And we do, but however, we do know where the elderly or the sick are, so they fall into the normal power restoration. So if you have somebody you have concerns for, just be sure to check in with them and make sure they're in a safe place in case so the outage won't impact them in a bad way.
What about the website? Question 1.
Another asked me about a generator. They had an electrician install a device where they could hook it up and they have a proper connection. If an electrician set it up for you and it's a proper connection, and follow instructions that the electrician gave you, and you should be fine.
Questions, James here is asking about the solar panels. They ask a question, who do they need to contact in case of a storm outage if they have solar panels at their home?
Panels themselves are damaged, and talk to the installer, contact them. I mentioned earlier, devices that automatically remove those solar panels from our system in an event of outage. So if they're properly installed, then it's not going to create any issues during a storm. We're looking through some of these. They're all coming in at one time. I have one running a generator. That's just follow manufacturer's instructions. Do not in your house at all. It's not worth the risk itself. So make sure keep them as far away from the house as possible.
One of the questions is, where do I get an emergency supply kit? They sell those kits, local hardware stores, which has your basic needs, and you can get those pretty much, anywhere that will, take care of the emergency situation.
Generators again, but there's a lot of interest in those questions. They were asking what's the recommended size of the generator to run a room or refrigerator. Talk to an electrician or a salesman at the hardware store. They probably have guidelines on these generators. That's a very small load. A refrigerator doesn't draw much power. Lights in a room doesn't. The things that draw a lot of power at a home, which is going to really increase the size of the generator, is something like a central air conditioning unit, or if you're an electric heater, or the electric water heater. Anything that has a heat type system draw the most, and it's going to require a generator. Refrigerators, freezers, small window units, and just lighting does not draw that much, and you get away with a fairly small, fairly inexpensive generator.
One of the questions comes about smartphones, and it's about the website to sign up for text alerts. If you go to the website, the easy sign up, that website is www.entergytext.com, and that's this website that you do not need to have your actual account number. It will just ask you your house number, the zip code, maybe the last 4 of the social on the code. You also get to our Entergy Storm Center page, and the web link to that is stormcenter.entergy.com. And that's where it's a lot of good information. You can get to Outage Map and a lot of the different tools that we've talked about today from that web page as well. And question says, can the outage maps be viewed from phone? And yes, you can actually go to our Entergy web page through your cell phone, or you can actually download the Entergy app, and it's got the View Outage Maps on there as well. You can use that from your smartphone just like you can view any other web page, and click on our View Outage Maps.
If we run generators during or after the disaster, no, we do not do that. The best one to buy one though is states have actually it's getting ready for storm season, and look at it around then. And the time is right after a storm because demand is real high. So if you plan on getting one, you can get one. Just make sure you have one on hand. Otherwise, you may pay a premium and or not be able to find one.
Okay, well, some good questions. It was a great time to go over some of these helpful tips and tools that Entergy offers. We appreciate your patience, and for any of the questions that we were not able to answer, we will try to follow up with contacting you individually. Thank you, and everybody have a great and safe rest of the evening.
Thank you. On behalf of Entergy, I'd like to thank you for attending our webinar this evening. As a reminder, a PDF of the PowerPoint presentation materials and the playback link to today's recording will be emailed to you sometime within the next couple of days. If you need any other information or have any additional feedback or questions to share, please do not hesitate to contact us. Thanks again for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your evening.